Hello and welcome. We start today's Nerds United with a cap building, uh, a cap building discussion for Daily Low Diamond cap. So to help guide me today, um, I'm joined with one of the other Nerds United, Aster. Uh, Hi, Aster.
Hello.
Okay, so there's a few things wanted to talk about. So this is Daily Low Diamond Cap. Uh, Daily Low. Thanks, Prentice. Daily Low Diamond Cap. What can you tell us about this before I start building this roster from scratch?
Uh, so let's see.
We have 12 minutes.
Uh-oh. So I got to talk fast?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there are no home runs. Sadly, the what I wanted to look at is loading very slowly, but I do remember there's no home runs. There's almost no strikeouts. I think it's around 2.75 strikeouts per 9 innings. So stuff really doesn't matter. Um, let's see. Yeah. Point 0.2, 0.08 home runs per 9 innings. 2.57 strikeouts per nine, and just under 3 walks per nine. So you want pitchers with control and pitcher BABIP, and that's pretty much all you care about with regard to your pitchers. In 1919 settings, pitchers will throw until their arms fall off. Um, I've seen 225, 250 pitches if a game goes into extra innings. So it seems ridiculous, but if you have like a 3-man rotation and some guy goes 225 pitches, he will not recover back to 100%. So you can put a cap at like something silly like 175. I haven't really nailed exactly where you can kind of put it to protect yourself, but um, you can put something of a cap up there just to protect, that if you have a game that goes into a crazy number of innings, because generally you want 3 really good starting pitchers and then just four guys filling spots in the bullpen. Um, there's a couple of guys that in the low 40s that have good control and pitcher BABIP like Catfish Hunter that you can at least use uh, if you want to use a few points to have somebody in the bullpen. If you get to a point where it's just late in the game and crazy, but for the most part, you want 3 really good starters, and you want um, just kind of anybody in the bullpen can fill those spots because you can't submit a team without at least 20 overall players and 7 pitchers. And you can't also submit a team. At this point, you could submit a team with only 2 starters, but for when you're before the tournament fires, you have to have at least 3 starters in there.
So this is how I have this team set up. I have spending big for Needham Fuhr. Probably a waste, but I like using him. Uh,
Yeah, I
I'm gonna try something different this time. I'm gonna go to all mid relievers,
okay.
um, because I want to use Tom Needham Fuhr more often.
Okay.
Uh, I'm spending big for Catfish. I'm spending. Where else am
I
I
mean, you're
spending?
not spending big for Catfish. Catfish is what, 47, 48. Okay.
48. But
Yeah, no, you're spending big for. I'm not even going to try to. Tom N. We're going to go with. Yeah, he definitely is a phenomenal pitcher for this format, but I just don't think he's going to end up getting enough innings of use to justify um, using that many cap points. Although to a large extent, this is a cap where you will you know end up having a decent amount of points left over.
uh, Isadafo. suggesting Knudsen. I remember Knudsen. I've seen him before. I've used him in other builds. Where is he? He starts with a K. So I feel like I've cashed a couple of times in this, with this build specifically. So I'm doing something right. Spent maybe not a lot of stuff right, but I'm doing some stuff right. So yeah, so with this, it feels like with the reduced run environment and it being 1919, PBAP is like the thing that matters.
Yeah.
So like I wonder. I don't think I have like a 42 in here. I could replace. I don't know, Browning or Knudsen. Pitching ratings. Oh yeah, because PBAB shows up on here. It does not. So this is not a useful
No.
comparison. Okay. Batters. Let's look at some of my batters.
Okay.
So I have Yelich, Frisch, Bennett, Joyce, Edgar, Strang, Hubby Brooks, Andy Van Slyke, and Derek Jeter. And I have Dink on the bench. I feel like if we go back to the sheet and we'll make this a little bigger, and then I can go to batters, and we can go and look at specifically how good and bad my team has gone. So in terms of WRC plus, Joyce is good, Hubby's good, Slyke is good, Edgar's good. We go down, kind of Yelich is kind of underperformed. Strang is kind of underperformed. Frisch is kind of average. If I take this off and kind of look at all of them, Mo Vaughn is good, and I guess my Yelich is just.
Yeah, I mean, it's you had talk about such a small sample size with just how he's done for you. I definitely think Yelich is one of the stronger plays for this format.
So, I did pick up a Roger Connor.
Okay.
Is it possible, if I hide this, is it possible to get like drop a Frankie Frisch for like a Jamie Carroll? And then upgrade Edgar to Connor? How does that
Yeah,
sound?
I think that sounds good.
Okay, so we're going to sort by fielding. We're going to drop a Jamie Carroll in here. We got 5 points. I think that 5 points I can upgrade. Where is he? Edgar. And it gives me probably a little bit more. First base. Roger Connor. I'm no longer under the cap. Huzzah. Okay, so
Okay.
Jamie Carroll is going to be good. Roger Connor is going to be good. No longer need Tyler Mothel or Tyler Nevin. I'm paying for some ridiculous guys, so yeah. So I feel like Connors probably should be maybe lead off, something like this. Although I feel like Hubby Brooks being my 4 batter is probably not a good idea. Bill Joyce is good too. Throw some Derek Jeter. Very, very scientific. Probably something like that, I guess. Save, and then we're gonna see how this works out.
Okay.
I'm not gonna platoon anyone, even though I probably could. Burrows bats right. Yeah, maybe I should bet. Maybe that's the why my Yelich is not good. Although I don't know. Yelich versus Burrows VL.
Um, like I don't understand why you would have Burrow on the team if he's not gonna bat.
Fair. And then I kind of have Dink, who now I guess I could play him at third VL, but Joyce I feel like doesn't really need to be platooned with the eye.
Right.
Hubby, I could probably Hubby VL. Joyce defense bad. Joyce defense is bad. I like that. I like that assessment. So if we're gonna move Joyce, we're gonna move Dink to third. Just so I can see his infield ratings. So Dink's now my third baseman, and then Bill Joyce is gonna be my DH. Probably goes something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I still think you're. I mean, I guess Carroll's a good defender, but Jeter really isn't.
Shortstop
Um,
defense only matters if the
Shortstop
ball's.
only matters in league and tournaments. Um,
Oh, here's the roasting gonna happen. Not Jeter at shortstop. Okay, so
no, now you have to play Jeter at shortstop and win the tournament just to upset kidneys.
so if we're gonna go here and we're gonna look, so I could play. We have 2 minutes to figure out a new starting shortstop.
Yeah.
Under the
Also,
under the
none of
wire.
the good bats are good gloves.
So if I say like minimum greater than, what's up, nerds? Hi, Coach Ruffy. We have 2 minutes to finish my low diamond cap build. So Ed Delahanty, Jonathan VR. I guess I could drop Hubby for VR. I think I have points for that. 84. And what's VR? Shortstop. 83. Yes. And then I'm under the cap again.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess that given where you got 2 minutes, that's an upgrade.
Ooh, and I could play Bob. Yeah, let's throw Bob on the team. There we go.
Okay.
Now I don't
Would
know.
we get rid of to throw Bob on the team?
VR or no, Hubby Brooks and Jeter.
Okay.
So Bob is gonna be. Oh, this works great. Bob's your uncle. Bob's gonna come in and be my shortstop.
Okay.
And Van Slyke, he's kind of low, but
Yeah. Do you have a Roy Thomas?
I don't have the points for Roy Thomas. I don't think. Bob has low error rating. Error rating doesn't matter. You got to get to the ball. Error is huge in 1919. I was playing Derek Jeter and I placed. I have low expectations, kidneys. Low expectations. Did you? No.
Roy Thomas
I said
is
I
an
played.
80. I think it's an 81.
Is he an 81? I got 5 seconds left. This isn't gonna happen.
Okay.
Congratulations on your silver pack. See, kidneys, if you aim low, then if you do place, you kind of get happy about it. Let's see what's
Oh,
gonna
it's
happen.
Diamond Pack Day. Forgot about that.
We're upgraded our defense. We got Bob.
Okay.
We got Connor. We got everyone. Let's wait for
Do we want to
this.
set up lineup versus left-handed pitchers?
It's simulating, so it's not going to pick it up.
Okay.
Only
Hopefully,
W's.
we didn't face a lefty in the first game.
Well, we are facing
No.
Fabtron and Mr. Louis
Okay.
Tiant, which is also a good card. While this is coming in, we can kind of take a look through some of the just kind of general stats. Fred Carroll, good card. I think I picked up a Fred Carroll as well. I decided to splurge on stuff.
Yeah, not a great defender, but that definitely one of the best bats in the format.
Did this pop? No. Just losing everything. So if we go continue looking, I
You
think
have a Joe Cunningham?
I think I'd put in a buy order for Joe. No, yeah, maybe I do actually. I threw up a bunch of buy orders. I think they all filled. Oh, I did get a Joe Cunningham. This team could have been so much better if we just started.
If we started this a little earlier.
If we just started this a little earlier. All right, Sims in,
Yeah.
and the team of Destiny against Fabtron. We lost.
Oh, 2 runs in the ninth. Did Niedenfuhr blow it for you? No, Roberts
Roberts came.
stayed in the game.
Oh, I sold the card.
There you go.
Okay. I'm guessing what is Mr. Fabtron throwing next? Ted Trent. Does he even have a left-handed? Do I have to really? Oh, he's got Hal.
Yes, his next two are lefties.
Okay. I guess we should set that left-handed pitching.
Yeah, we should probably set that lineup, even though it might be short-lived.
Nevin, Burrows, Abrams, Joyce, Zanino. This is done. And you might ask, Extra Forest, why are you only running 22 people? And the reason is I still have the silly tinfoil thought that the less players you have, the more concentrated your results are, which is an absolutely silly approach. I wonder.
Well, the bottom line of it is, not so much that as, it's in a cap tournament to fill those last couple spots with 40 overall players. If they're pitchers, they're not really going to pitch, and you don't want the AI to, to pick them really. So you can, if you have to get to like 20, you can throw a 40 overall and then force bench him. But if you're going above 20, to add another, once you have your 7 pitchers, to add any more doesn't make any sense. And then, the only thing, if you're going with, 7 pitchers and then 15 hitters is going to cover you, for backups in every position. To go more than that, there's a couple of low irons that maybe play really good defense at like one position that you might want to, have backup for almost every spot. But there's also a bunch of guys that play a couple positions that are pretty decent. And it's not like this is a tight cap where you're really struggling. You have to use 40s. You can often get some, guys in the, low iron that do things for you.
I think like an argument could be made of running Frank Chance in addition to Cal Abrams. Sure. We can take a look at what the very accurate, not as accurate as Kidney Sheet, but maybe as accurate, unprovenly accurate. Can go look. What's the difference? See, Cal Abrams. He's actually, because of the eye, and I think people still run. Like the wrong pitchers for the format, so my guess is eye is still playing up. Where
like Newhouser and Score in game 3 and 4.
Shh. But yeah,
did I say something? Who?
Yes. So Cal Abrams with the high eye, I'm confident that eye is because he walks quite a bit with his 114 and 120.
Yeah.
I already have Mike Zanino backing up. Why do I need another backup?
No, but I mean, chance for 0 cap points and
Probably.
to fill a spot.
It's probably a good play.
It doesn't hurt to throw him in there and just have him to kind of help out.
All right, we're gonna see if I'm gonna get swept in whatever 4, or we'll wait for 3 more minutes. Let's look at some of these other builds in this. You didn't get.
Yeah, I didn't have a spot, so I don't have a team in this. But
we'll take a look at Durden. We miss you, Durden. Durden's running Walter.
Walter Johnson, Luis Tiant, Dave Steed. Okay.
Dave Steeb.
Would like some higher pitcher BABIP than Walter provides. Steed is a little bit better in that regard, but the control. And then Tiant, I think, is as kidneys and others use the phrase S tier for this.
Togi. All right, let's look at this kidneys, and so we can all copy him. Kidneys is actually running 26 players. He's got Haddix, Tiant, and Haddix threw 115 innings. Durden is M'd up. Haddix threw 15 innings and 200 pitches. That's a lot of pitches.
That it is.
We're gonna change up these strategy sliders. We're going to go to Cap 2, where we've never been to before, where the long hooks rule supreme.
Okay.
This is what I was missing. So because if I had that 15 inning pitched game, then I think I would have won.
Okay.
That is impressive. That is so impressive. And then 56 pitches and how many these numbers, they don't make sense.
Yeah. Well, you don't see a lot of 22 inning games in real baseball, but when you do, you get things like this.
Well, I guess if you wanted to play 22 innings, then you should have 26 players on your team.
Yeah. Well, let's look at his pitching staff overall. Does he have very many pitchers?
he needed all 19. No, he's got 8. He's got 7 with a Jimmy Ryan sighting.
Okay.
Who had 7 plate appearances in the Did he get pulled in that game? I'm kind of curious. Let's go back to the box score. Where is he?
There really wasn't any offense at any point in the game.
Oh yeah, he played center field. Jimmy Ryan pinch hit in the 9th.
He got 6 at bats after that. Christian Yelich had 9.
What a game! What a game!
9 at bats and a walk. Wow, 10 plate appearances.
I want to know how Sam West only had like 2. Well, I guess Robin Roberts pitched 12 innings. Not as efficient, I guess, but still, I'm kind of curious how he pitched. Like through 9 innings, Sam West only had. I kind of want to look at the game log. It'd be like single, fly out, walk, double play, walk, single, fly out, single, walk, fly out, single. Oh, sack bunt. Kidneys with the sack bunt slider. What is Sam West sack bunt? Oh yeah, the 47 makes sense. ground out. Oh man, this is efficient pitching. I just watched a video on Jacob deGrom, and it's not as crazy with his strikeouts, but oh boy, these are some short innings, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, who else would we want to? You didn't get in.
Let's look at these 19 hitters that Kidneys is trotting out there.
Okay. Yeah. Let's take a look at that. Lineups. So Carroll, Yelich, Mission Edition, Randy Reddy, Raj, Limited Edition, Jason Hayward, the 39-year-old
One card.
Baker, Carroll. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Do I even up the series with Mr. Fabtron?
Dun, dun, dun.
Nope.
Nope, down 0-2.
Down 0-2.
So close.
Mothel. Not the best third baseman. Andy Vance not the best. NVR, not the best. Haddix only threw 117 pitches, but Niedenfuhr,
Wow.
the 85 points is in. He's into, Joyce. Oh, Joyce got a hit, and he got a couple of walks. Roger, not really doing much. All right, let's take a look at Fabtron's team, who is probably going to sweep me in 4 games. So he's gone 9 pitchers. He's decided Robin Roberts is going to be a stopper.
Interesting.
Blue Moon Autumn. Tommy Byrne. I feel like the control. Yep.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, did this rotation, is Fabtron like watching this and microing to beat me? Can someone ping him in Discord and ask?
Wait, I'm
'Cause
confused.
This switched up, right?
Well, who pitched
Game 1,
game one? What game one was Haddix?
but it didn't start game 1.
No, game
Is Tion. Tion's off his team. Where did Tion go?
go.
Where
Wait, you're right. Where did Tian go?
disappeared? Poof. Just like that. Trent, not Tion.
Go to his roster.
No,
for a
he
second.
pitched Tion.
Yeah.
If I go here and I go here, Edmonton, Louis Tion.
That is extraordinarily strange.
Is he on? He's on his reserve roster. The good old switcheroo. Maybe. Dun dun dun. The good old switcheroo. So yeah.
But
I don't know how that works.
yeah, I don't know why you would do that.
Maybe he
At
fat
this
fingered.
stage. I don't know.
Okay
Fabtron
then.
doesn't usually micro.
Oh, you know what I bet it is? I bet he's switching between the desktop client and Go. And I bet Go may have made some modifications. Okay, batters. George Davis. I used this card in I think a silver cap today. I lost, but I was like, huh. It was the bronze floor tournament. Oh, Tournament Lab was a bronze floor, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, let's go to that.
Okay.
That was not an on purpose segue. That was
Okay. That was the stream of consciousness segue. I like it.
That was a stream of
Okay.
consciousness segue.
Well, while you're loading that up, I'm going to take a minute to give a shout out to the winners of the Tournament Lab bounties. Actually, you know what? Let's back up a step.
Do you want me to bring up slides? I'm gonna have to.
Not really.
Okay.
We can just talk about it.
Okay.
So Tournament Lab, for those who are not aware of it, is a weekly tournament where the format is going to change, periodically throughout the year. And the format is picked by a committee that's made up of Exto, myself, Durden, when we can get him engaged, Charles, sometimes Mike ABC, and Nico from OOTP, just to kind of help us with what is possible under the various formats. So the idea is we try and find formats that are a little bit different from the usual tournament, trying out different eras, different combinations of cards, different restrictions, to just try and make some unique formats and try things out. So last year we famously tried 1876 settings, which was very odd, but it was fun to try. And we used live cards in 1876, which ended up involving a lot of position players pitching. And I think from my experience, I liked when we went to 1894 better. I thought it was a little bit more kind of, not realistic is the wrong word, but just a little bit more functional. Like things sort of work in 1894 in a way that they didn't really work in 1876, because besides being no strikeouts, there are also no walks and no home runs. More interesting this year with pitcher BABIP as a specific stat. But it's something we'll discuss. We wanted to, for the first one of the year, we wanted to keep it simple. So this initial format is just bronze floor, silver ceiling, and a 1700 cap. So a tight cap where you kind of have to pick and choose. Every point matters in terms of moving up from 60 overall cards into the 70s to get some of the top players for the format. But you kind of had to make a lot of tough choices as to how you were going to spend your points. So
it was definitely to Sadefo's point. There were some people who were trying to be creative, and I think that was kind of
yeah,
neat. But I think after 2 or 3 iterations, it got really boring and random.
yeah, I think that was the thing, is it was fun, but the randomness factor was just just so out there. I thought 1894 there was still a lot of interesting things you could do. With strategy, with trying different things. So we're definitely going to try some, earlier formats, maybe, try something in the late 1890s or early 1900s to see, because, the default for dead ball seems to be they go to 1919, which is kind of the last year of dead ball. And so, you see that the numbers change very differently from 1919 to 1921. But, be interesting. Maybe we'll pick a year in the early 1900s and see, going back maybe 15 years or so, if we get any current results, and kind of go from there. It's also fun to pick a year that we've never done before, because everybody's kind of starting in the same spot. You can't really truly model it. You just kind of have to kind of, at least for the first tournament, just guess what you think is going to happen and go from there. And then we'll definitely experiment with some things. One of the things we tried during the year that was fun was just kind of having lots of different restrictions, with a tight cap and then a limit on the range of card values, the range of card years. And the reason we did that was to try and maybe get some cards that you don't normally get to play very much into the into the player pool for that particular tournament. So, like, for example, I think we did one where it was high bronze floor, and then maybe like a low gold ceiling, and it just kind of brought some cards that aren't quite good enough to make it into open bronze. Kind of became very valuable because they they were 65 exactly, and and then some of the low gold cards that just never get played in open gold, got some more play. So we'll definitely do some of that. One of the things, we're definitely going to, look to do throughout the year is get feedback from you guys. If you have ideas for, a specific format, like if you've got something fully formed that, in terms of the year, the era, the year, the cap, the spread of cards, all that, um, lay it out for us. We're happy to have it. Or if there's just something specific, like you really want a tournament that's set in a certain year, or you really want a, specific player pool, something like that, please reach out to us. You can reach out to any of the tournament lab people and, share your ideas. We're happy to, incorporate them when we're discussing this and coming up with new formats. Haven't heard from Nico yet when we're going to be switching over. Usually it's when when they do a tournament refresh at the end of each BTCS period, but we haven't gotten any indication on that yet. And then, not surprisingly, none of us did particularly well this week. So wanted to do a quick shout out to the 4 people who collected their bounty of 20 standard pack. So I lost in the first round to the SF Peach Kings, E6, and Extra Forest lost in the second round to the Corpus Christi Hooks. Durden lost to the Chad Golden Rumps, TBD, and Charles lost in the first round to the Troy Haymakers. So those 4 teams will be getting 20 standard packs probably the next day or so, as soon as I notify Nico of who collected the bounties. And anything else you want to talk to about Tournament Lab?
Yeah, we to Prentice Brown's point. Oh, that's not the tournament I want to enter. A gold best of 7 modern would probably be good, but I'm sure that's gonna happen eventually. So I think the idea, I know a lot of people have very strong opinions about having kind of the vanilla tournaments that are kind of like build up, right? Like you have your, well, now that we don't even have the quicks, it's a little different, but going from like a quick to a daily to a weekly, and hopefully like that does come back. I think the idea though is that with 22 weeklies, you kind of want all sorts of variety.
Yeah, I mean the big thing with the gold weekly is the round robin into the best of 3 is I rock this. Never let the truth get in the way of Prentice Brown's narratives. Come on, you got to learn this. This is important. Of course, they're both best of 7, but he doesn't have quicks anymore, and he's very upset with not having best of 7 quicks.
It's not, the weekly isn't best of 7. The weekly is not.
No, the weekly. That's what the weekly is. I don't like the format. It's best of 3. It's silly, but it would be nice to have something that you could enter fairly regularly, because both of the gold dailies that are open, you have to sign up almost a day in advance, but I understand them wanting to encourage people to play more dailies and weeklies, but I didn't quite understand completely getting rid of best of 7. Like, one of the things that they always seem to be particular on the past is that the amount of time it took to make it through a tournament, that the reward was commensurate with that. So if it was a best of 7 the whole way, that used to get 10 packs, or if it was a best of 5, you'd only get 5 packs. And they try and factor that in And they kind of went away from that a little bit with the double elimination last year that got you more packs. But you would think that based on what they've reduced, the pack rewards to, that they could at least bring back best of sevens for some of the kind of standard formats, bronze, gold, etc., and just make them 5 packs. And it may not be the best use of your tournament slots in terms of return on investment, but I think a lot of people just like playing those tournaments and like having a lot more data to collect. Just kind of the way a lot of people like the game, even if it may not be the most efficient way to play to maximize your resources. Just something that easy. You sign up for a few of them in the morning. You maybe check a couple times a day to sign into new ones. Whereas these like the gold quicks now, you have to kind of be in front of your computer all the time if you want to be constantly signing up for new ones, and that can definitely be frustrating. So certainly would be something that would be nice to have that. And then
I think with how tournaments are structured, they definitely, like, baseball is inherently random, right? And so
right.
when the series get reduced and you have these like short series, then it definitely, things can go awry. Like think of playoffs in league. Think of playoffs in real life. Like, who would have thought that the Phillies would have made the World Series last year?
Right.
And yeah, so in short series and like even a 7 game series isn't long enough. And so this goes to like Kidney's point being like, yeah, every day should sim a season in league. And like I feel like that's a little extreme, but
no, but it's a way um, you could set up tournaments where everybody knows that for this type of format, we're going to play. The first round is going to be a 99 game series or whatever number you pick, and it's just going to sim the entire series of games all at once against that opponent, and then 10 minutes later you moved on to the next round, and it's going to sim another 99 game series or whatever it is. And that's that that probably should not be how every tournament is run, but it would be a lot of fun that would really start to have the best teams, the best builds would just get rewarded for that, because in a 3 game series, in a 5 game series, even a 7 game series, it's just not enough time to really show out your better build. But when we look at data of last year with like the best of 7 quicks, that people would play hundreds of them, and if you looked at the data, you could see the people who were winning 60% of the time, those were the top players, and it stood out that there were only a few people who were able to sustain over a long number of games that kind of win rate. And if you're going to, especially if you're going to start having things where you want to make a big deal about like a championship event that's best of 7, there's just not enough time for the best players to really prove themselves in that way.
So would you, here's a trade-off, and almost to the point that Isidifo is in chat, like, would you keep it now where everything is whatever, 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 30 minutes, or would you like double the time to have 10 times the series, like best of 70 or something like that, or best of 71 type of thing? But like you get sims every like 20 to 30 minutes for tournaments, right, and like every hour.
I mean, I just think you can try. I mean, one of the things about this is, there's lots of ways they could do it, and we could try different ones and see which ends up being right. I mean, maybe you have some tournaments where there's no real microwing. It's just you enter, and then it sims everything, and then it tells you, you see the results, and maybe it was 9,999 game series each round, and it just it sims all of them, and you see the results after however much time it takes to run that many sims, and that might not be an ideal format or a solution, but hey, why not try it if it's something that they can set up, see what that does, and then maybe have some that are like hybrid formats. Maybe like Estapo and Kitties are talking about, is that it seems like a 3 games at a time, and then you can make micro adjustments.
Yeah, the counter argument to all of this is that it's boring if people always play the best cards, because we see this a lot, right? Like if we had like a 999 game season, and or whatever series, and it came out that uh like Bill Joyce is always good. Like basically the more samples you get, the tighter the results are going to be, right?
Right.
So I feel like it would make the game boring, because as much as like everyone bemoans about the randomness in the game, like I feel like it's a like feels like baseball, and b uh I feel like it would get stale really quick.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
and
so with Kidney's point, like he would enjoy it because he collects data, he looks at stuff, but like I feel like if you can run 99 games in like whatever 10 minutes, and you come back and you see like, oh, like go to whatever statistics and sortable stats, and come in here, and batting stats, and like, oh, number one in terms of whatever OPS plus, who's at the top here. Like if this was like a definitive list and not like Kevin Kiermaier in 2 games, because the plate appearances are going to be whatever. I think we're probably 50 is a good point now, or even more. Like it's just going to become almost like
right.
less random, I guess.
Right. Well, the other thing
Yeah, it's a
is,
different
this
game.
could be this could be just what they use for like the big events, is not just for like everyday play, but if you're going to have like a master series that you're trying to say like who uh you know who are the very best players, if you're doing it just one tournament, you kind of to really crown a real like a definitive champion. I think you need to have a format that there's enough games. Either it's the results of many tournaments, which is why I really like the way they're doing PTMS this year, is that it's not just who won the PTCS. You can pick up points in playing a lot of different PTCS events. And then it kind of adds up, and then so it's not just who got lucky. Maybe you can luck into 1 or 2 deep runs and qualify enough points for PTMS, but then when we get to PTMS, it's just going to be one tournament of 64 teams, best of 7, and there's just going to be a lot of randomness, especially if a certain team ends up getting 2 buys to start the tournament, or something like that. So I definitely would not want to have something like that as like a regular, how all tournaments are done, because I do think we would burn through kind of and get to the optimal teams, and everybody would run the same optimal teams very quickly. But I think for kind of big tournaments, or maybe the occasional tournament, it would work better.
Yeah, yeah. It's an idea.
We occasionally have those, but we try not to.
They're dangerous, I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the other big thing happened in this is that Seawit our lovable Discord buddy, when we were announcing the bounties, he wanted to be a bounty, but we were full. So apparently, what was the bet?
So Seawood said, since he's the defending champion, if you knock him out, um, uh, he would call you sir or whatever title you wanted for the next week until the final until the next tournament. So JDA, as a joke, said, "Well, if I beat you, I want to my title to be princess." And they ended up playing in the fourth round, and they went to a game 7, and then they had probably the most epic game 7 we have seen in quite a long time. The game was pretty close early. Do we have the?
We have the game logs. I don't know if I won't be able to watch this, right?
Don't think so.
But yeah. Oh, good God! It's another silly number.
What is this?
18 runs in the ninth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also notice that Seawit scored 16 runs in the 6th through 9th innings. So he was only up 3-0 through 4 innings, then 4-0, then extended it all the way to a 20-3 lead going into the bottom of the 9th. That is, I mean, just the chart is phenomenal. That it's like at 100% basically, and then just straight down.
Yeah, to Spieler's point, this being baseball is kind of
Yeah, I
not,
don't remember seeing a game quite like this before. But the fact that JDA had position players coming in to pitch in the last couple innings because of how
what was
how
this?
badly.
Hold on, there's this game too.
Yeah. Oh
How,
yeah.
how did this happen?
Well, this is what kind of set up the other one.
Like, was Seawit running? No, he was running 12 pitchers. Oh man, I wish I had that export from the previous game. But yeah, okay. How is JDA still in this? That's my question.
Well, I don't know, but where are we now in the
We're
tournament?
we're going into the semis. Yeah, and JDA is up. He's just like he went from a 4-3 to take out the Bourbon Bros in 5 games, which is a
Wow.
little not as high of a body count here, but
That's amazing to come back from that series and win in 5.
is Segui okay? Diego Segui. I was like, what Segui is this? I don't remember this. Especially given the precedent set by previous draft games. Yeah.
I'm not
Zito's a
understanding.
good. Bedard probably not that strong. McDermott probably. So this is something like I'm just like casually as you were talking, I was casually going through and I was like looking at, when on the manager page, not on the manager page, on the team page, strikeouts and stuff, and where was it? Statistics.
Wait, hold on. No. We need to stop because Kitty's just said the most accurate thing I've ever seen. This tournament is awful if it produced that series between JDA and Seawick. Anything that produced that series is awesome. And your Kidneys owes me an apology right now.
like it's pretty. Some people who have gone deep are leaning pretty hard into like the stuff guys, like Hernandez,
Yeah, well, I mean,
Kirkowskis.
in modern settings, I think that you can you can get away with that. Stuff. Home run prevention. You'd like some pitcher BABIP in there, but I think if you're going to punt, um, a rating, I think that control is the one that you can get away with. Um,
So on this point, like I don't know if JDA is has changed his lineup, but like I kind of want to talk a little bit about kind of bullpen deployment as I get booted from every gold DoD that I ever enter. So one of the ways I kind of understand how bullpen gets deployed, and people have kind of told me this, and I've kind of looked into it, is that it's like it's either like strictly role based. So if you like say setup, then I don't know, 99% of the time the guy's going to come in a setup role, which I guess is like in a save situation, but not the ninth. Maybe I
right.
rarely
Yeah.
run with
So
setup guys.
yeah, there's a very specific, with setup, you say one inning, and then it has to be, where I think it's either a tie game or you have a small lead is a setup situation. I don't know if it's specifically like, I guess it's probably like essentially a save situation. You're right. Um, but um, but not the ninth inning. And so, yeah, if you set a guy for as a setup role, they're only going to bring him in for that very specific situation. And so, if you kind of set guys in those positions, you're going to end up in a situation where they don't, if the game doesn't get to that point where that specific role is needed, it'll just kind of ignore those pitchers until you get to a point where I think if all the rest of the pitchers are completely gassed, then it might go to those guys. But otherwise, most people thinking setup put pretty good pitchers in that spot, and then I think they don't end up getting enough innings.
The stopper role, I don't like. I run it a lot without
Right.
100% knowing exactly what that means, because I think when you go to stopper, I think you get what, eighth and close and seventh and close.
Right. So basically, the stopper is essentially the same in terms of when it's going to bring them in, based on your settings. But the thing is that it's not just going a setup guy. It's just basically going to bring him in for one inning, and then pass it on to the closer. But the stopper, it's going to bring that guy in the seventh or the eighth, and then it's just gonna, if the guy's pitching effectively, he'll finish out the game. So it's kind of like what the initial kind of relief pitchers in like the, maybe not initial, but like in the 70s and stuff. That was the way that that the first kind of real like firemen, they weren't really called closers yet. Is that they came in a tough situation, and they would often pitch 2 or 3 innings to finish out the game, and you didn't turn it over to uh, you didn't turn it over to a closer for just the ninth inning. The one thing that you have to keep in mind is, depending on the era settings, if you have somebody set as a stopper, it will pull it'll pull your starter after like 7 or 8 innings, even if they're pitching very effectively, just because it's this situation where a stopper is supposed to come in. So you do run into situations where, in going back like, 60s, 70s or earlier, you have that situation where you really kind of would be very happy just having your starter pitch the whole 9 innings, if they're pitching well, but instead it will pull it'll pull them from the game. And so sometimes you don't want that. You don't really want a stopper set up in in some of those earlier era settings. Um,
I kind of wonder.
Iraq. Oh, go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
Okay, I was just going to respond to Iraq. This is I thought the high leverage is basically the fireman role. Um,
But
oh yeah,
so,
Kenny's just answered that. So
yeah, so the challenge with that, and I've kind of ran this, is that it seems like the decision points that the engine makes with respect to bullpen deployment is that what happens is he comes in a high leverage situation, but he's not going to stay in it because as soon as that high leverage situation is gone, then he's typically pulled for a middle reliever
okay,
or a long reliever. So like this is where like I was looking in tournament lab and I was looking at kind of Chimera's team because I was just kind of looking for people who are deploying stoppers here. And if we go and we look at Chimera and his pitching lineup, he's got two stoppers. He's got Wandy Peralta and he's got Orville overall, a bunch of marbles. And if you see like Orville, he's pitching a lot more, and so part of that is probably because Wandy is a real reliever, and Orville is a starter in the bullpen.
right.
But like I almost wonder like it. I wonder if this is a combination of longer hooks to get the consistently 2 innings and even like 30 pitches, or like I wonder especially in these cases where he's getting like he's coming in the eighth and pitching 2 innings. I wonder if you want to do like a stopper and a closer secondary. I wonder if that would work because I wonder if you were to do that, then like the game would come in, it's eighth and close, and like presumably eighth and close is if you're winning, and if you're winning, uh, I wonder if he'll stay in as a closer. If that's a way to kind of nudge the game to uh, nudge the game to keep a guy in for 2 innings.
Um,
Worth a try.
now you lost. I mean, obviously try it, but like I think you lost me a little bit in that. Like if you set a guy as a stopper, and then have it, usage options eighth,
It's
eighth lead or eighth and close. What is,
it's what IROC this is saying. It comes into the ninth and it says, "Hey, I no longer am in like a stopper role. Like I don't have to stop things. I guess I don't know."
Really? From my experience, if you put a guy as a stopper, um, it would just let him finish out the game. I mean, use high leverage. I think more it pulls somebody else in once the high leverage situation is gone.
Oh, maybe.
But maybe I'm misunderstanding that. For the most part, I find that if I have a stopper come in, usually pitches the 2 or 3 innings, and that's it.
How long the starter went? I used to use both, but I hated it. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Something worth a try. This is one of the as much as everyone moans about the game, it's still fun to figure stuff out and try things out. If you have both stopper and closer, it will do that, but stopper only, it usually just leaves them in.
Yeah, I have not. I usually either set up a closer with mostly middle relievers and maybe long relievers, or I have two stoppers. Um,
Because like I've ran stop. Oh, I'm somehow still in this, but we'll see if it if it continues.
oh yeah, did you beat Fabtron?
No. Fabtron's up 3-2.
Uh oh.
We can see how Mister I've won the game. Oh, did we curse kidneys? Hello, I am here. Hello,
Oh,
Mister Seawit. Welcome.
okay. Well,
Ryan 2, stopper blank. It would use both stoppers far too often. Which, I rock this, I think that's the point, right? Like, you want to put your best pitchers in the stopper role. And there's something to be said about, fatigue and management and um, bullpen deployment and trying to get I was like, I was looking into this, and I was looking into like the aggressive tiredness hook, and my understanding of the aggressive tiredness hook now, after some, albeit very short testing, is that it prevents a pitcher from going below zero. Oh, congrats, Fab! You have won with your AI roster. That means I get to go enter in another tournament. Hooray! 11 innings. So we can go and we can kind of look. How many pitches did we have here? Louis Tiant pitched 164. Couldn't get the win. Oh boy. Those are some low batting averages.
Yep, that is the name of the game this year.
I find it takes them out before they even get into the red zone. That is true. So aggressive tiredness hook will prevent them from, I think, like getting to a situation where they could hit zero. So one thing to do, which is kind of fun, which I was trying to do as I sign up for just quick tournaments, is if we go back to tournaments, go look inside. If we go back to something like the tournament lab, something fun to do if you have. I did this for like 28 sims in a row, but I only did my own team. If you go to statistics and you go to sortable stats, and just how like we all kind of export stats, the fun thing to do is to come in here and what do we do? Do something like this. Actually, I have this one here, and look at the relief pitcher fatigue, and look at how it changes over time. So like you can kind of now see how like Frank Tanana threw 104 pitches with 94 stamina. Diego Segui threw 88 with 53 stamina, and this kind of helps. But there's instances where, like, you can see how bad fatigue is. So, Carl Edwards Jr., who's a reliever, threw within 2 pitches or 2 days 31 pitches, and you see him that this basically broke him down. And so if this is gonna Carl Edwards Jr. is gonna take 5 days to recover to 100%. I think this is what people tell me. So if you had aggressive tiredness hook, he would be pulled earlier, but he'd be available sooner. Because
Right.
once you
I mean,
once you hit zero, it presumably takes longer to recover.
yes.
So I've wanted to do like I have 3 or 4 spreadsheets where it's just like a bunch of data, and I don't quite know exactly how to slice and dice it, and I don't really know what I'm what the goal is for it, but
No, it's I actually find that stuff like that, I get the best feel for it by, picking some tournaments and really kind of not so much microing as like making a lot of changes, but just checking every sim and just seeing what the fatigue looks like, for my team and for some of the other teams that are, making runs into the into deep into a tournament. Um, and just to kind of see, what kind of um, patterns emerge in terms of what really tires a guy out, what requires a couple days for them to come back. I did this a lot at the beginning of the year with the dead ball 1919 tournaments because I thought initially that you'd be able to do like 2-man rotation or even like a 1-man rotation, and it was interesting to see that the way it was working, and that if you pitched a guy, he could kind of pitch like a couple days in a row, but then um, you know he would need like 3 or 4 days off if he pitched too many games in a row and got down to zero. You need him to like clear like a bunch of those starts off of his ledger before you get back up to where he could pitch again. So that's obviously the extreme version, but certainly in in any format, you can kind of look at that and just kind of see how the ebb and flow works. And one of the things that you see just how important getting days off are, as the tournaments go on, in terms of being able to.
Unless you're
Yeah,
JDA, who
yeah. I mean,
is he up then
sometimes
or
it
is
just
he? No,
works.
he's down. He's down against Jay Sussman.
Okay.
But yeah. Now let's see
But
what's
one of
here.
the
We
things.
can take a look at this craziness.
Oh, it's just one. It's 1-0. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
just 1-0.
One of the things that I've kind of struggled to conceptualize is that the run environment in general across all tournaments, all eras this year is much lower number of runs scored. Like last year, almost every format, there would be between like 5.5 and 6 runs scored per game, per team per game. And this year, it's more like 4, maybe 4.25, and even there's some that's like only like some of the older era tournaments are like 2.5 or something like that. And obviously the BAPIP is the main reason why. But my thinking was going to be that even in modern era tournaments, if there was just a lot less runs being scored, the pitchers would end up going deeper, and you wouldn't need as many pitchers, just because guys, starters weren't going to get knocked out of the box early. But I do think there's something in the engine that letting up a couple of home runs, even if they're solo shots, causes pitchers to be pulled quicker than than you would have expected.
But
And
but that's true. That was true last year too. It's just
right, but last year it was you knew that guys were going to get crushed not just by home runs, but also the hits and then walks and then a home run. So you had a lot of guys last year that would get knocked out of the box early because they let up 6 hits, 3 walks, and 2 home runs, and 7 or 8 runs in only a few innings. And so then you knew that the bullpen was going to get crushed. Whereas this year, a guy will let up only a couple hits, but there'll be home runs, and it'll pull them fairly early, even though they haven't actually let up that many runs. And I don't right now. I don't know if there's a good way around that, but it does seem to require that you have a fairly deep bullpen, depending on obviously the era, more so than I thought you would, given the number of runs being scored in a game. Now, of course, also you have crazy situations when bullpens get tired, where you end up with 21-20 games, where an insane amount of runs get scored late in the game because there's a lot of guys coming in that are at 0. And so, I'm starting to wonder if I want to play around with trying some of these formats, trying a 13th pitcher, or when possible, depending on the format and what the options are, to use a two-way guy more often, to be able to have somebody that's just kind of I wouldn't think about necessarily pitching, but just have an extra arm of some use available that's just going to be better than having somebody come in as a 0. So could be that as the game goes on, if we don't get adjustments to the engine, that might be a way to kind of balance things out, is have 12 kind of pitchers, but have a couple of your hitters are guys that have some ability as a starter to kind of bring in.
I'm back. What did I miss?
You were gone.
Um,
No, I basically I was talking about that. One of the things I've been trying in my head to think about whether I want to do 13 pitchers in some of these formats, where I'm seeing like late in a series where even though I haven't even let up that many runs, all my pitchers are just wrecked, And so, one, I do think I need to probably make some adjustments to the settings for that. But I also think that, I'm going to be maybe looking a little bit more often for some hitters that have, that are two ways. And I wouldn't necessarily even like, have a role for them.
Yeah,
And
I
just
think
see if it's to just kind of have those guys as extra arms, because even if they're a mediocre to bad pitcher, if they're if I don't give them a role and they're only pulled in when um, you know uh, everybody else is at zero, I think that could give you some benefit and keep you in some crazy series, like the one we saw with JDA and Seaway. Um, Jimmy Ryan would be an example. Depending on the format, he might be a guy that you're really only using as a hitter, but you have him as a kind of emergency arm. So
I think if you can do this, right? Like I can do none specified and then mop up, right? Yeah. So I feel like maybe that's the way to go with uh these two-way guys, because I think like none specified, they're not gonna max SP hook and pitch counts. So Isodifo, the max hooks, yeah, I think that kind of makes sense. And I
yeah,
guess your idea of the
you
pitch
really want
counts is just to prevent them from getting below zero, right?
right. Well, you want to get you want them to be pulled from the game before they get crushed at the end. Um, but
Zafiro, are you
yeah,
are you in Tournament Lab? What team are you so we can take a look? Z Pharaoh? Zed Pharaoh? My Canadian is showing. Zed Pharaoh.
yeah. I was like, I don't know what that you're talking
No.
about. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So
Because, yeah.
he's not in this tournament. So, yeah. I mean, depends on. It's tough. It would really depend on the format whether I think I can get away. Because also if you're talking about 7-game series, it can be really tough. Um,
Yeah, okay.
uh,
That makes sense.
yeah. I mean, I want to avoid situations where my starters are not getting enough innings that it's going to obviously you're going to have games where they get knocked out of the box early and are going to put up some ugly numbers, but you really want when they're pitching even mediocre to stay in the game to get you whatever the max is. And you definitely have to play with depending on the stamina. I do also think that there's some of these pitchers that look really good when you look at their stuff and their pitcher BABIP and their move and their home run suppression and their control. But then if their stamina is not very high, they just you can't afford to use them as a starter. I mean, maybe as a fifth starter on occasion, but I really have been trying to avoid those guys. With like I don't know, I don't even like some of these guys with 60 stamina. I think they struggle to get to 100 pitches, and they're not getting through 6 innings. And it's a lot to expect, to get 3+ innings out of your bullpen much every game.
Yeah, unless you're running stoppers that are able to, like, if so this is where maybe the control PBABIP guys make sense in your bullpen. Like it hasn't really bared out. Well, it's bared out a little in terms of the data, but like those guys are the most efficient at getting outs, right? So because they're not going to walk people, the balls in play are going to be weakly hit. So they're like junk ballers that can eat innings as a reliever, right?
Yeah,
The thing is though, you like Zed Farrow was saying, like you need good defense behind them to complement the PBABIP.
Sure.
So I could see that kind of working, and that's something I've been like pitcher fatigue with Dink especially. Who's Dink? Dink Mothel? He can pitch? I didn't think he could pitch. Apparently he can pitch, but I tried to put him. I tried to put my Dink as Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just find that, having guys that play all those positions, like if they're covering
I still
more than two positions,
yeah.
you're still gonna end up with some bad fatigue situations. Um, but yeah, if you only have four reserve hitters, it's really hard to cover all the spots. So I've been hesitant to do that, but depending on the format, the ones that have really high home run rates, I think you might have to consider it. It's hopefully something to play with, and that some of the other Negro League cards I think do have at least some pitching. Um, I might try that. I think that might be a better, I don't know. I also hate to do too much and then find out they changed, they change things, which I feel like we're getting to the point where if they're going to change things, it's probably going to be fairly soon. So I don't know. I probably should play with it and see if I can find a spot, because who knows, they might just stick with this version of things.
Yeah, I guess to the point in that like it's really hard to find a good balance, which I think is kind of what we're getting at, because like last year in the rabbit ball era where it was pitchers were being pulled and you needed 13 pitchers because people were scoring like 20 runs a game.
Right.
And then you get the reverse where no one's like, it's all dead ball basically.
Right.
So yeah, yeah, it's interesting, and we'll see what happens. It looks like JDA is down 2, and the Flying G's have tied up their series. And like looking at kind of lineups, Petway. This is like catchers fatigue so quickly. Let's look at Ferndale, see how they're doing. Yeah, their catcher is getting there. JDA lineup. Davey Johnson, interesting. He hasn't even played that many games in a row. But I guess he never really. I guess he had a very batting stats game log. He played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row. I probably dropped him pretty close. And then he had 3 days off, and he played 2 games. Yeah, fatigue is hard. Then sort of
fatigue is hard. Okay.
Sid Fernandez, yeah. GDA looks like he should be in good shape to come back here. I don't know.
Yeah. But I definitely feel like some of the reason why I've been struggling with some of these formats is that I haven't been able to spend the time to kind of get a feel for what's going on with some of some of this fatigue stuff that just feels very different from last year. So it definitely feels like a way to differentiate yourself if you kind of find a flow for this that works for you. And I do think it will be very format dependent, and some you'll be able to, some it's a bigger problem than others, but in terms of kind of ways you can differentiate yourself, even especially in formats where most people have a lot of the same cards. I do think how you manage this has always been important, but it seems especially important this year. I think you can really kind of get yourself run over by one bet game that goes a lot of innings, or even just a few starts where your pitcher gets knocked out of the game early can really mess things up.
All right. Let's wrap up the stream with setting up. What is this? This daily live gold. Everyone's
daily live gold.
Everyone's
Okay.
favorite. I'm trying to qualify in whatever I can.
Okay.
I don't have much in terms of daily live gold data. We'll see how much I could pull some, but that'd be kind of boring.
Yeah, I think I've played this a few times, but I really haven't paid much attention.
Let's see, how many tournaments of daily live gold do I have? I have 2 tournaments. This is not nearly enough. I will manufacture a... I will use my perfect draft data set. Or we could use kidney sheet and see what happens.
Yeah,
that. You want to try that?
That's going to have open gold data, so
Sure.
I don't know. No idea if the run environment is even remotely close, or the player pool, but probably not. But
okay. All right, where is this master hitting sheet gold? Usually have long man who avoids high leverage and has mop up.
But Kidneys did say that his spreadsheet would work perfectly for every format, and that your money was guaranteed. He would refund all of the money you paid for the sheet if it didn't.
I only have 7 minutes. I have more than what? The live gold is like firing in an hour. I got lots of time. Live tourneys are yes. So here we go. Info and eligibility. So if I do that, is it going to show up? Okay. So this is a kidney sheet. Card value limit, price limit, no card floor, card type. Does this work? MLB Live. Perfect. And then I have to do calculator, data, where is it? Formula, calculate now. Okay. Don't know how to read this, but we'll figure it out. So first thing I'm going to do is, I'm going to hide this. I was telling people in the other stream that I did, there's this blank. Basically, when you load into a tournament and you load in like this, export this, and save it as a roster, and then then you can be like, I'm gonna just start from a clean slate. So
I love doing that. I did that for something today because I was just like, I can't figure out how to change this. I was like, I'm starting over.
Okay, so catchers. So if we bring up the sheet, and maybe can you still see that if I do that? Maybe on stream.
Yeah.
Something like. We'll do that. Okay. Whoa.
Okay.
No, I grabbed the wrong one. Okay. So catchers, I need Sean Murphy and Will Smith.
Sounds good.
First base is Yandy. I thought I recently picked up a Yandy. Yeah. Specifically for live tournaments because I'm super smart. I'm not that smart. Second base, Wander. I think, did I buy a Wander? I did buy a Wander. Perfect. Who else is second base? Marcus Simeon. Carpenter versus Diaz. Is Diaz not trained at first? Oh, so don't play Carpenter at first. Good to know. Thank you, Estafo. Okay, so let's scroll down a little. Third base, Gunnar Henderson. Oh. Oh, the sheet is bugged. Oh, so I should not care about defense and look at someone with a better bat. But his bat is good. I'm kind of confused. Oh, I see. Uh, Lars is still better, right?
I like Newpar.
Oh, Carpenter should have. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. First mistake, not playing Matt Carpenter. I played Matt Carpenter in the bronze double elimination in PT23 so much, so I'll give it to him. Third baseman. I know this is obviously your favorite thing to do, Aster. You know, I know how much you love live tournaments.
I've done well. I won the live open, I think last week or the week before, last week, and I think I won the live cap once already this year. So I've done well in them. I don't know. The cards are just weird. But it's also they're fun in the sense that it's kind of fun where like you know all of the cards have flaws, and to a certain extent a lot of the live cards have these same flaws, so they almost don't matter. It's like there last year there were just a couple of live cards that actually had good avoid K, and you could kind of play those and get a bump. This year kind of everybody fits the same mold to a certain extent, so you just kind of can ignore some of the awful numbers in some of the categories. But
I would have thought Jeremy Pena would be on here. I was kind of confused. I guess his bat is so bad that it doesn't matter.
yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of confusing. Do I have a Seager? I don't think I have a Seager. I don't see a Seager here. Seager? No, I don't have a Seager. Okay. I do have a Crawford, so we will play that card. Where are we at? Lost another. Nimmo. All batters. No, all outfielders. Nimmo. I'm surprised Varsho. Oh, no, Varsho's there. Jazz Chisholm. One of the perfect drafts I won had Jazz Chisholm playing center, which was interesting. We'll do Varsho as well. I think I have a Sawinski. I think I got one. DH. Giancarlo. How many people? We're at 12. Will Smith, Yandy, Carpenter, Jazz. Alright, if we're going to set this up, we'll hide this for a second. Gallo's probably good. Wander's good. Crawford, Varsho on left. Nimmo, Lars, Stanton. I think this is probably good. Only 2 righties, so yeah. Yeah, let's throw Joey Gallo in here. Joey Gallo. Go back to the sheet and take a look. Mountcastle, Schwarber. Let's throw a Schwarber in. Actually, I feel like I need a right-handed bat. Mountcastle, no. Rendon. I feel like Rendon is probably what we need. How's he doing in real life?
I don't
Do you
know.
Apparently, I do not have a Rendon.
I don't know how much he's played because he got suspended.
He did get suspended. He's back though, I think.
He
JD
is hitting
Davis.
238 with a 262 slugging in 55 plate appearances this year. He has a decent 364 OVP, but
If you weren't live specking 2 weeks ago, then what were you doing? I think this is good. I don't have a middle infielder, so this is not good. I think the Tyler O'Neill pick. So I need a right hand hitting second baseman, or a VL second baseman. Simeon, yes. Okay, so we're gonna drop Tyler O'Neill, and I know I have a Simeon, so we're gonna play Simeon, so that I have someone. I have Low in at VR second. But Wander or Jazz. All right, we're gonna just try this.
I like it. I don't know why.
It has Simeon over Gunner, 69 versus 73. Probably Gunner goes there. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Varsho Gallo's gonna be in my corners. And he's gonna be in my center field. No, we're gonna. Yeah, let's do that. How do we feel about this? We have lots of platoons. Smith can probably bat both ways over Murphy, I feel. I don't know. What does the sheet say between VL, Will Smith? It actually likes Will Smith both ways. Okay. I could buy that. Yandy is in for Carpenter. Simeon's in for Chisholm. Gunner's in for Crawford. Wait, was he... Do I not have another left-handed bat? Gallo should be in for Henderson. Guess Gunner over Simeon? Yeah. And then Stanton DHing, and then that just has Lars. Has a lot of people. Lars and Nimmo. I'm a little exposed VL, but is this sheet available? It's in Your Kidneys Discord. I don't think he posted it anywhere. Just message
No, I think it's
just message your kidneys in the main Discord, and he'll send you an invite. So yeah, I think this is kind of good. For pitching, can load the pitching sheet at Your Kidneys. Yeah. Downloads, pitching sheet. Or Ben Sheets, yeah. As it loads. So pitching, pretty sure just sort by PBABIP. The meme last year was to sort by L10, and the meme this year I think is to sort by PBABIP. Because all these guys are good. So we're going to enable editing. Is this going to work? As I load up the sheet. These are big sheets.
yes.
Nestor Cortez. Live Kenley. Is he as that good? I think Jason Adam was good, if I recall. Oh, it's still loading.
Manoa, definitely. Oh, you already got him.
Gallon. Oh, it might be done. Okay. go. Starters aren't a card type. Whoops. MLB Live. Let's see if I do that, does that work? There we go. And then we go to pitching. The staff builder? No, pitching.
No, I think you want to go to summary.
Calculate now. Summary. So yeah, Tristan McKenzie, Javier, Evan Phillips. Starters only. Let's look at starters.
The only
only.
tough thing with Javier is the 51 stamina. You more want to use him as a stopper rather than a starter. But
yeah. Alec So Tristan McKenzie, number 1. Alec Manoah, number 2. I have to calculate now. Gonsolin, number 3. Gallen, number 4. Oh, and Joe Ryan. I also picked up a Joe Ryan specifically to play in these tournaments.
There you go.
Okay, so Joe Ryan, what's his starter? Javier is a reliever. Whoops. Okay, so Gonsolin and Ryan both at 57. Gonsolin, I'm going to go down to 94. Actually, let's go down to 89. So now if we go back to the sheet, starters only, go no, summary, calculate. Why is it still showing starters?
No, it's not. Evan Phillips isn't a starter.
No. Why is it? I thought it. Oh. Okay.
Starters only.
Yeah. Okay. I thought it was like not starters. Evan Phillips. Evan Phillips. I have that card. Who else is on that? Raisel. Boostar. Oh, I have
Star,
both of those.
sure.
Rysel. Gallegos. Do I have a Gallegos? I do not have a Gallegos. I think I was looking at him because I saw him come up in my data too. Oh no, I do have Gallegos. He's an 81. He's down here somewhere. Am I only on starters? No, I'm in all pitchers. I'm blind. Holy cow. Why can't I find this card?
Who is it?
Oh, he's a silver. Oh, I'm really blind. He has a gold card.
Okay.
Is that putting me at? Yeah. Okay. So we're here. Okay. So what were some of the things we were talking about? We were talking about putting people stoppers and closers, right?
Well, no. So you don't want to do both. So I think you can do Javier and Cortez as stoppers.
Okay.
They're both, kind of have plenty of stamina for that role. And then I think you put everybody else at middle relief, and then designate somebody as a mop up. Any of those guys have the problem is I think almost all of your middle relievers now are true relievers, right?
Okay, so let's drop Jason Adam and find someone who has a little bit more stamina. Peralta will be our mop-up long man. So middle reliever, and you think long relief is probably sufficient?
Yeah, I mean, you could also list him as the long reliever and then put mop up as a secondary role.
Okay. Avoid high leverage and mop up. So he's just going to
come in, fairly early.
And we're going to set his hook to long.
Sure.
And then these guys, What's secondary?
You can do high leverage.
Okay.
It might bring one of them in a little earlier, um, if it's a key spot.
And then also long hooks. And then I feel like I want to use Brewstar and Rysel
Okay.
as more often. And maybe these guys as long relief. Do you remember when Brewstar Gratterall got traded and he was a starter? I feel like that was like 2017 or something like that.
Yeah, he was a big time prospect for the Twins,
Oh,
and
yeah. Okay. I just recall someone being like, "Who is this guy?" They thought he was like they thought he was like a fictional. So if you know Toronto Blue Jays, the similar when they traded,
wait, they're Canadian baseball teams. Is
yes.
what you're telling me?
Do you remember the 1st of September? Um, Julian Merriweather is the same. He was like this fictional guy who was supposed to be very, very good. He's not as good as Bristol Gratterall, but I feel like Gratterall had that. Uh, was it the Mookie Betts trade?
Well, it was like I think it was part of.
Real life
Yeah,
stats.
that was a 3-team trade. That's right.
What's a Canada? I don't know. Real fielding. We can find out his real fielding. So yeah, that's my live strats. We'll run this 105 30 pitch 30 pitch 30 pitch count bullpen.
Um,
No,
Definitely for the true. I mean, I for what's the stem on the guys who are true middle relievers?
15 to 16, 19 for
So yeah,
Phillips.
so I'd go less than 30. I'd go like 25 on those guys,
Okay.
and then I actually for something like this, I might do it. Don't do it globally. I would do 25 individually on the 4 middle relief guys because you don't want Peralta being pulled after 25 pitches.
Yeah, I think.
Uh,
Oh, I see. So
so yeah,
probably
so I
like.
don't want to set a global for that. Um,
Oh, I see what you mean. Gotcha. And then
and then the
oh,
stoppers, I might go a little higher, maybe 35. Um,
pitch count 35. Have your pitch count 35, not 96. And then these guys, everyone, all outfielders, no, all relievers. So everyone but Phillips. Phillips can probably go 30. And then Gallegos and everyone else could probably go 25. And nothing for my long reliever. Okay. I think we're good. Oh, the last thing. People have told me this is important to do. Don't pinch hit people if they're tired. It makes their recovery slower. I've been doing this. I don't know if it's worthwhile.
yeah, no, I think so. I think it's annoying to have to do it for everybody.
And then I'm just not stealing. Okay, we're good. Let's export this. Not as blank as what is this? 5 daily gold. Should be off by default. It should be.
Yeah,
off
that
by
would be
default.
nice.
Okay. Do we care anything about lineups? Jazz first. Probably not, but Maybe Lars first. Carpenter, Will Smith, Joey Gallo, Varsho. Yeah. Nimmo could maybe be first. I don't know. Maybe I'll do Nimmo first. Simeon. Not enough eye. Yandy can't run. Giancarlo. Will Smith should be fourth. Wander maybe fifth. Oof. This is going to be a rough. I should probably split this up a little bit. Who's my best lefty? It's probably between... Oh, all the lefties are kind of decent. Yandy. Probably... I feel like batting Giancarlo. Let's do that. Break that up a little bit. Okay. All right. So yeah. I feel like that. Oh, we have packs to rip. I gotta rip an Atlee Hammaker. Hammaker? Is that the guy who came a few days ago? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the new 100 LE. You're gonna rip one?
The Royals have. Yeah, I'm gonna rip. It's gonna be 4. They're all gonna show up in one pack.
Okay.
Yeah. They're all gonna show up in this pack.
This I'm looking forward to seeing.
I got a Nelson.
I don't think we've ever ripped a pack on stream before, so we've like saved up the streamer, boost.
Boost. All right, we're gonna rip a gold pack, and this one is gonna have 4 Atlees in it. It has our good friend Bristar Gratterhall in here. He's probably gonna go perfect at the next live update if they do it like they did last year. All right, silver pack. Silver Jackie in this one. No, Sir Anthony Dominguez. Is he going to go perfect? He might go perfect. All right, and then let's open the last one. Freddie Peralta. Wonderful. I love it. So on that sad news, any last words? Thoughts?
No. I think that, please, if you have ideas for the tournament lab for future formats, please reach out. Give us your suggestions. We would prefer, to be able to incorporate, people's ideas. Last year we came up with a few on our own, and a few were, the result of people's suggestions, or at least in part. So, we encourage you to do that. Makes for good discussion, and then also often results in some kind of fun formats. And we'll look forward to seeing all the tournament lab keeps losing the first and second round again. That seems to be fun, and it's possible that next week's will be the last one, but we're not sure.
Yeah. Just looking to see who else is playing out of the park baseball, and there is a Ripley the Oriole who is playing. Does anyone know that person? Because
I do not.
Well, we're gonna kindly raid into them, show them, show them some love. And thanks everyone. Good luck to everyone who is in tournament lab still. Princess format. Don't have anything else to say, so have a good night. Bye.
Sounds good. Bye everybody. Thanks for coming and listening to us blather for a long time.
Let's see, did this work? Yeah.